I haven't touched Halo Wars in years, which means it's the perfect time to come experience it again and to make a video on it. So to start, Halo Wars is a real-time strategy game originally released in 2009. It had a remaster basically, as it's the same game with better graphics and is optimized to run on PC, called the Definitive Edition, which came out in 2016. That will be the version I am playing for this video. It will be on PC, but with an Xbox controller, and I will be on Legendary with no skulls. The game opens with some really cool cutscene of the UNSC vs Covenant action on the planet Harvest, which really makes me wish we had more stuff like this in media period. Halo universe, UNSC vs Covenant battles in TV, movies, and especially more games. You would think it would be a no-brainer when you look back at the stuff like this, or the game that came after Halo Wars, Halo Reach. But that's a subject for another video. While that cutscene was going on, Captain Cutter was doing his report, which is where he gives us backstory about where we are in the Halo timeline and what's going on. So the ship is the Spirit of Fire. They are stationed at the planet Harvest, which they have just gotten back from the Covenant, and this is 20 years before the Halo event. Cutter on the captain's deck meets with his AI Serena. You're told again how we just got Harvest back from the Covenant.
Harvest may be ours again, but I don't think the Covenant appreciate that yet.
And then you meet Professor Anders, who is talking some science until Forge reports on the monitor, informing you that the Covenant have found something in the ice. And this is all your UNSC leaders right here that you can use in multiplayer and skirmish. But with the Covenant doing something on Harvest, of course we're gonna have to investigate it, so Cutter tells Forge to secure Alpha Base, which brings us into our first mission titled Alpha Base.
Alpha Base up to operational status and take control of that site.
You start in control of Forge and a Goshawk, which is OP honestly, and you're basically going along a narrow path helping soldiers and adding them to your unit. You do this 4 times until you get to a destroyed UNSC base where you have the on-foot soldiers destroy an energy barrier, so whatever warthogs you have left, mainly Forge, can enter the area around the destroyed base. Then you defeat all the Covenant around the base, which is just grunts, ghosts, turrets, and race, and that's mission 1 Alpha Base done. First mission was basically a tutorial mission and getting you comfortable with the game, and one thing I realized all these years later is how much this game reminds me of Command and Conquer, with the talking faces on the voice comms, and then
all units awaiting orders.
It really does add a lot of character to this game. Into the next mission, it opens with a cool cutscene of Forge on a rock watching Arbiter and Elite talk about infection Relic when they're speaking about the Forerunner site they found.
What if the infection defiles the relic? I care not for your little life.
Then we get Anders being sassy. She wants to go down. Forge doesn't want her to, but Cutter reluctantly agrees because she needs to check out the Forerunner site.
Understood, Captain.
Arbiter then reports to the Prophet, who tells them to destroy the Forerunner site.
Destroy this holy relic, surely you jest.
The journey requires sacrifice!
And then we start at the base we took in the previous mission. We get control of Forge Hog again, and we are basically given a tutorial on how to train units and build up our eco. They only let us build infantry and warthogs though, and even though they open up the gate so we can go do the objective of making it to the Forerunner site, I maxed out my unit capacity before pushing behind, which there is supplies here, you should get them. And you get a reinforcement drop, and you're then told to save 2 Warthog prisoners on the map as an optional objective. There was one close that was really easy to clear, and as I was moving to the other one, I discovered the other optional objective, the enemy base, and then they destroyed all of my units, which was overpopped by 4, and knocked Forge out, destroying my OP Goshawk. The main objective was to just make it to the Forerunner site, but now my main objective is to destroy this base. Before my army was wiped out, I did have them cripple as many locusts as they could. Once I was full pop again, I send everyone straight up the middle, the hogs to forge and my infantry to the garrisons leading up to the base. We fought over the garrisons for a while, but I just kept rebuilding my army and won the battle of attrition after a while. I wiped the base, saved the other warthogs, and I see I can build tanks since when? I'm really not sure if I unlocked it by destroying the base or because I didn't reach Tech 3 until I destroyed the base. But I take whoever is left while building any tanks I can and rush the detonator at the entrance of the Forerunner site, and easy peasy, mission complete. Overall, it wasn't super difficult so far despite being on Legendary. But that was mission 2, Relic Approach. Moving on to mission 3, Relic Interior, Forge escorts Anders to a terminal inside the Forerunner site. She activates it and then the Covenant appear attacking.
Heresy!
Forge starts aura farming before he calls for backup.
Spirit Forge! We're gonna need a little backup.
And then you control the backup. You get control of 2 OP Grizzlies, Grizzlies being beefed up tanks Forge designed, and you start at the entrance to the Forerunner structure. You make your way in and across a light bridge to help Forge Anders and the Marines they came in with. I took my time killing as much as I could before getting to them because tank go boom. But they are taking damage and that could have been an issue. You saved them and now you must make it out the same way. You don't get any additional units here. The Grizzlies and the Marines that come with Forge are it. The light bridge that you originally used to come in on is now out, so we must go to the other side and have Anders hack it so we can use that bridge. I put Forge on the garrison and have no issues defending the hack for a minute. I activate the bridge and hurry my units across while fighting, and it's going super well. Extremely well, one would say. And I am on the straight shot to the exit until I realized Forge had stayed behind to make sure we made it out. What a hero. An absolute legend, man. Yeah, no, he is needed to end the mission, so okay. I leave Anders at the extract and send all my units to save Forge. On Legendary while everything is spawning like crazy. And let me tell you, as I get there to Forge, the backup died at the entrance, Anders is knocked out, and it's just 2 Grizzlies. The greatest Grizzlies of all time, 1 Marine, and Forge. They make their way out of the Forerunner structure, they help Anders, and mission complete. Mission 4, Arcadia City, opens with a cutscene that basically lets us know that the artifact at the Forerunner site pointed to another star system, and Anders convinces Cutter that we need to travel to that star system. I'm just saying, you made a big deal about us just getting Harvest back for us just to leave it and not care. Maybe that was to show like the struggle of humanity, but you mentioned that twice. I noticed that you mentioned it twice, and then that's it. Moving on, as we arrive, Arcadia City is being evacuated because the Covenant has overrun it.
Serena, launch pods.
We go to help the Spartans who are on the planet with the evacuation and protecting the ships that are leaving the planet. I start with Hornets and a Forge Hog, and there's 3 ships to protect, but I mean technically 2 because one of them always gets destroyed no matter what. You also have 3 same team but uncommandable Spartans that hang out at one of the ships, and you have to go revive them periodically. I remember this mission being super difficult back in the day, but this time it really wasn't that bad. I spent the whole time before the first ship explodes looking for a base, and then after it explodes you get the option of 2 bases. I sent a Hornet to both, but only ended up having 1 survive. So then I focused on only building Hornets, which on one base took basically the whole time to full pop, and as I was trying to clear out the Covenant around the map, they destroyed another ship before I could save it. So I gave up on another base and destroying the enemy bases and had all my units stay at the last ship. After a couple minutes, mission complete. I swear this mission used to be harder because I was able to first try it on Legendary while not playing very optimal at all. But maybe it's because I knew to go Hornets. Mission 5, Arcadia Outskirts, is where this game actually starts showing some difficulty. This mission throws you into the UNSC forces escaping the city, and you need to take a base on the other side of the map and survive. I had to do this mission 3 times. The first 2 times I tried to rush tanks and then Hornets, and I ignored the base that comes up right next to you after a couple minutes. So I decided to try just Marines. I sent everyone on this highway to get to the base. I cleared the base quickly as I learned in a previous attempt that the OP Covenant turret spawns after a certain amount of time no matter what. Then I built up the base and only made Marines, garrisoning everything I could. I used the Spartans on the race whenever they sent them at me. And my army of Marines was able to destroy the turret and claim that second base. I upgraded the ODST, and eventually you get 6 more Spartans as reinforcements. With my now 9 Spartan army, I cooked that last Covenant base, and as you complete the mission, Forge is called the Sea Cutter. Overall, it wasn't as hard as I thought. My first attempts where I failed, I completely ignored the old reliable Marines, and after calling it a night and trying it again the next day, this level was easy even on Legendary. It was really cool to control 9 Spartans and see how ridiculously OP that is. Imagine a full pop of those machines entering your vision from the fog of war. What do you even do against that? Mission 6, Dome of Light, opens with a cutscene talking about how the Covenant have a cloaking shield that we cannot break through. But we have some plasma rhinos that can target the shield and break through.
Covenant shield technology is susceptible to superheated plasma. Aren't we field testing some plasma-based rhinos?
Anders needs to be on the ground for this for whatever reason, and Forge is gonna accompany her. You start with a base on what looks like to be a big platform. I did try the Marine Goshawk strat and failed miserably, having my main base destroyed along with all the rhinos. But on my second attempt, I wasn't playing no games. I noticed the enemy does not attack you as hard before you place that first rhino, so I made an army of tanks and Marines and then upgraded everything just in case they take out one of my exterior reactors. Then I mixed in some Wolverines and did the first rhino. All the rhinos from here were a cakewalk, as my army was now strong enough to compete with anything. All 5 were in place and I complete the mission. I would say this mission was definitely more challenging than the ones before, as the enemies constantly come, which ranks up as you progress in the mission. However, being the patient, strategic man I am, preparing my army beforehand allowed me the victory. The end has you blasting the hidden base and the generator for the shield dome with the Mac Blast, which was okay. I wanted more Covenant despair. Let me blow a group of elites to smithereens. Like, come on.
Let's get down there and see what the Covenant found so damn interesting.
Mission 7, titled Scarab, opens with a cutscene of the Arbiter speaking to the Prophet. He must destroy humanity, but he is frustrated that he is stuck searching for Forerunner artifacts instead. He really wants to attack humanity, but the Prophet tells him not to. He is instructed to get Anders because she seems to know how to use the Forerunner technology.
With the humans will require a great deal many more machines than we can currently muster.
I will take what we have.
And leave us defenseless? No.
This Arbiter seems really impatient and aggressive. Now, this mission I can say was difficult. You have a base and a half-built Scarab behind some very easily destroyed debris looking at your base. You need to destroy all 7 of these nodes to affect its turning radius and weapon effectiveness. Anything in front of it dies no matter what though. The Scarab has a lot of health, and the Covenant Locust Hunters attack your base as you're trying to deal with the Scarab. If your base is destroyed by any means, Covenant units, or when the Scarab breaks this rock, you fail the mission. You start with Tech 3 and a lot of money, which is nice, and they give you 2 very rare rhinos, which were completely useless. I actually struggled on this mission. I tried and failed going vehicles, wondering if it was all RNG. Then I tried old reliable infantry only. I deleted the vehicle depot and spammed Marines with flamethrowers, playing the war of attrition, hoping for the best. It actually worked great until it came to damaging the Scarab, where I would need an hour for it to be destroyed. Which, funny enough, I had forgotten about the glitch where it will infinitely attack a garrisoned unit. Or what I like to call my Marines dodging the blast. As you can see, it's clearly missing. Anyways, destroyed all nodes with ground units and built tanks to kill the thing quicker. Get your Marines here and you're gravy in this mission. The music was really epic and Halo-y. But since I still had to wait for the thing to be destroyed, it lost its pizzazz after a while.
Target acquired.
No problem. I told you we'd make it.
Turret complete.
On to mission 8. Anders' signal. Anders is documenting an area when the Arbiter walks up, whoops Forge, and then Anders goes with the Arbiter to save him.
You will come with me.
Why don't we put the lady down and talk about this man to freak?
As you wish.
Stop!
Anders, get out of here!
I'll come quietly if you let him live.
Then Red Team pulls up and Forge tells Cutter what happened, and then they track her transponder and go in pursuit. This brings us to a new world that's giving off pretty crazy reading.
The world is giving off some pretty crazy readings.
On the planet, you are controlling an elephant and Forge. Ahead of you, the Covenant has brutes waiting for you, and you must use the elephant to produce units. I really don't want to know what's going on inside that thing. But yeah, as you push into the brutes, Red Team pushes from behind, and once the enemy has been defeated, you get control of Red Team. As you move forward, you see other friendly units you can control being attacked by the Flood. No, not that one. And you make your way to one of the attacked elephants to free it from the Flood sacks. Once freed, you are given a base, and you must keep both elephants alive, and if one dies, the mission will fail. But there is a very strategic way to deal with this mission. If you're patient, you can clear the whole map with the infantry you make from the elephant. Leave both elephants with the flood sack on them and clear everything. Leave some units by the regenerating flood spawners and you can explore the whole map freely. When ready, destroy the last sack on both elephants and send them to the base and the mission is done. This was super easy because I took my time, 55 minutes to be exact, but I enjoyed exploring everything and collecting whatever this thing is. Had a good time, honestly. We now have 3 elephants and a base secured on the strange planet, and there is a good old parasite called the Flood, infecting everyone and everything it can. Mission 9, titled The Flood, has you starting immediately with that base that the last mission left off on. You have 2 extra supply pads and the elephants, but the elephants are bait because you have access to glorious hornets. No, that's a wasp, but hornets. With the last mission in mind, if I just build and fully upgrade an army of hornets, which is the Flood, why wouldn't I want to be in an airship, safety first? I should be able to compete with just about anything. So with said army of hornets, I avoided Red Team, who you see go venture off on their own at the start, and slowly pick everything off. Once it was clear, I have the Hornets quickly destroy all the tumors, doing the one by red team last. Then, once that big boss comes out, I send a super carpet bomb to its face and one hit it like I'm playing Warframe, baby. Only took me about 30 minutes to do, which isn't bad. I was really in no rush whatsoever. So far, the Flood's weakness seems to just be patience and helicopters. Who would have thought chasing this woman would lead to this infected hellhole? I would complain about the short mission, but I enjoy how it's picking off one from another. It helps me feel like I'm like in this world, in this story, you know? But on the mission 10 called Shield World, you start with a cutscene where Anders is now with the Prophet and Arbiter in that location we saw them at before. Cutter and Forge are sad, but as they're being sad, the ocean opens up and the Sentinels come flying out.
Docking? Cleansing? That's not right. Captain, you're not going to like this.
Serena, Captain, we've got company.
So, we gotta clear 3 flood bases that's in between our troops and the Pelicans at our base. We have to do this within a time limit, but we can increase that by placing a gremlin in front of this area and it'll add 5 minutes. There's 4 if you need them. I didn't really need them. I tried to go just Hornets again and it did not work at all. So I then decided to give up on the Hornets and the first squad with the Grizzly though, and build tanks with Wolverines for all those annoying flood pigeons. Full pop, max them out, and then I had very little issues getting the other 2 zones clear. Red team has to run back for reasons.
Backlight, abort! Abort!
And I delay them a bit to grab whatever this is. Then I crowd up the evac zone. Somebody's getting left behind. And mission complete. The key to legendary so far seems to make sure everything is upgraded and have some counter units when they spam something. Mission 11, Cleansing, has everyone evacuated on the Spirit of Fire. It continues to follow Anders' signal into the Halo installation while the Flood is chasing them, which causes the Sentinels to attack both the Flood and UNSC. The Flood is also attaching itself to the UNSC Spirit of Fire, so Red Team and Forge head out to get the Flood off the exterior of the ship.
What's going on here?
Best guess? We're being pulled through some sort of docking system. That alien life form followed us in. We have a significant infestation on the aft quarter.
The goal here is to have the Flood in its deflated mode when the ring does its energy wave so it is removed. You must put all of your units in airlocks so they don't die from this energy wave, and you have to fly your air units in the opposite direction. You also need to protect at least one of these airlocks or you will fail the mission. You get access to Cyclopses and Gremlins, which is cool, but I went for Wolverines, Cyclopses, and about 5 Hornets to go destroy all the sacks. This is another level I remember being much more difficult, and I will say that the airlocks can be destroyed pretty quickly without being able to be healed, but it really wasn't that hard to hold 2 of them that were next to each other. I will say too, one was destroyed at the very last second, but overall, I first tried it, mission complete. On to mission 12 repairs. In the cutscene, we make it through the spaceship-sized hole into the Halo installation, and then we ram into a Covenant ship, causing damage to both.
Hard starboard!
Hard starboard, aye. Charging weapons.
Battle stations, bring weapons online. Tell Forge he's not done out there yet.
Now we must repair the Spirit of Fire's power core with Cyclopses, while defending from Covenant attacks this time instead of the Flood. The airlocks are all back, but I just stayed with the same 2 from before because it was convenient. 1 for infantry, 1 for vehicles in the air. You get access to Hawks this time, which I built 10 of to protect the airlocks and the power core when needed. Red Team Forge and everyone else I built was sent to the power core. I built 6 Cyclopses and the rest of my pop I used for Wolverines at the power core. Pretty easy mission actually. The Cyclops healed pretty fast, the Hawks were OP, and I actually do really like this map. It's really cool and I wish there was a skirmish mode version. I didn't mind playing it 2 missions in a row. It reminds me of like a Supreme Commander map. But with the ship repaired, Serena gets us going. Which brings us into mission 13, Beachhead. It starts with a cutscene where Anders is getting aura farmed by the Arbiter for a little bit.
Restraints off. Your judgment has waited long enough.
And then he forces her to activate the Halo terminal that the Prophet couldn't do earlier.
Just get it over with.
Then she thinks quickly and uses a teleporter to get away.
Nothing ventured. Surface. That worked out pretty well. Or maybe not.
However, the flood is where she went, but so is Forge. He saves her because he is magically at that location too. Or, well, I mean, he probably followed the beacon actually, huh? Anyways, you then control Forge and Anders and some Marines. You need to extract Anders. The first Pelican is shot down, then you must utilize the teleporter like in the cutscene to get to another part of the map.
Looks so good. Spirit, we're gonna need backup. And another Pelican. On the way.
Then you hold out for another Pelican, which is pretty easy and quick. Then Anders tells Forge to stay, and truthfully I wasn't even sure what to even do. So again, I just used my very strategic play of not going anywhere till full pop and all upgraded. This time I went tanks and Wolverines as they send a ton of Banshees at you. These and Hunters, of course. Hunters are like the Covenant's go-to solution for any problem. They just send 2 Hunters at them. So tanks are needed to soak up damage and are better to attack bases, which is what the actual goal of this mission is, to capture 4 bases. The flood is here a little bit too, but I avoided these flood buildings because I thought it was the main objective and wanted to stop the constant barrage of Banshee waves first. However, since capturing the bases was the actual objective, I completed the mission before I intended to and never interacted with the flood like that. Overall, I like this level because it's simple, just capture bases, and here's some options. But with that, Anders is now rescued, or well, I guess more picked up, and we have 4 bases on the Halo installation. Into Mission 14 Reactor, we get a cutscene of Anders cooking up a plan to use a reactor to destroy the Halo installation.
It was a chain reaction in the sun.
Enough to destroy all the ships here before the Covenant can get a chance to make anything from them.
Well, put simply, Captain, our reactor will cause the sun to go supernova, leaving nothing here but dust.
And of course, Forge and Red Team are sent to make that happen. As it's being transported by air, it gets shot down.
I don't want to take any more chances flying that core in. We're changing this to a ground operation.
So we are left in command of the boys with a base and a reactor we must transport with an elephant to the core. Given there is no time limit and the enemy doesn't send much units, I of course took the time to build a tank Wolverine army with the backup ODSTs I can call in just in case, and to garrison there is 3 Covenant bases between you and the power core and some light flood work. It's also mentioned that if the elephant transporting the reactor is destroyed while on the slope, it will slide down, regressing your progress. But I never ran into this problem as I just sent my army ahead. The mission really wasn't difficult, even though it did take me 40 minutes, but that was just mostly to build. I also remember this mission being another pain to do, but in my time playing it, it was really enjoyable. There's no time limit, so there's no rush. As you work your way up, you can capture bases, which I did all of, and I even flexed on the Covenant before finishing too. I enjoyed taking my time, moving this elephant all the way up this very unique map. Firefight on something like this would steal hours, if not days and weeks from my life. But the FTL reactor core has been towed to the apex.
Spirit, we have reached the target site. Orders?
Which leads us into mission 15, Escape. So this mission starts out with probably the coolest cutscene in Halo period.
It's active! Sergeant. Lieutenant? Take care of those elites. He's mine. Let's go.
Like the rest of your race, weak and undisciplined. There will be no female to save you this time.
Look me in the eye and say that.
As you wish. My face will be the last thing your pathetic eyes ever see.
And for the record, I would have kicked your ass the first time if the lady hadn't stopped me.
I remember when this came out and the idea of more than one Spartan going to work was just something else. All we really had back then was Chief.
Core and align them manually when they need to blow.
Son, I have a feeling before this is over, we'll need every last Spartan in the fight. I can do this. Report back to the ship.
Forge really does get it done. As he's on his way there, Red Team must activate these locks for a portal so he can deliver the reactor, which will blow up the entire Halo installation. There's Covenant, including a Scarab and some Flood on the map. They seem to all work together. It was something I noticed before, but they seem to just flat out ignore one another and focus on you. You start with a tiny base, and there's 2 more to claim if you go up, which I did do but super late, even though it did work out, so who cares. This time I went infantry first, and unlocked ODSTs as soon as possible, and then later did tanks when the Scarab wiped away my whole army. I also had an elephant in the back of one of my bases, which made it really easy to reinforce them though. The ending is very anticlimactic for me, as I realized you can just send ODSTs to the locks and then activate them that way, so my tank army was basically useless and I didn't even have to deal with the Scarab. Overall, it was an okay level. I first tried it because of the ODSTs and that made it super easy, and the map design really wasn't anything to write home about. It's cool you got these bases on the side though, and I can see myself replaying and messing around a bit to find whatever these things were and skulls down the road. I swear this level used to be stressful when I was younger, but perhaps it's just because younger me lacked patience completely. I wish the game had a better finale level though, like they could have sent way more units and made it way more epic. But it was okay. Instead though, in the cutscene they have the Spirit of Fire doing some fancy flying.
All crews checked in.
Then let's not outstay our welcome. Best speed away.
Captain, the gravity field from the sun is expanding. We're not going anywhere.
Let's see if we can't turn that to our advantage. Sereno, plot a course that takes us into the sun. We're going to slingshot around it.
Threading a needle while accelerating around an exploding star inside a planet that's falling apart? Well, sure. Why not?
Serena, can you do it?
It's done.
The ending has Anders and Cutters entering cryosleep, with the last scene being of Sergeant Forge's pod. R.I.P. He got everything done. He basically did everything in this entire game. That man was a workaholic. And then the credits with some damn decent music plays. Like, really, the music in this game is incredible, as with most of the early Halo stuff. It sounds like music from Halo, of course. It has that spacey sci-fi feel with the strings and those hits, but it's very unique to itself. I'm not usually big on game soundtracks, but this one I do enjoy, and I catch myself just vibing to it times when I was playing. It could just be nostalgia, but there's no way I'm the only one. Let me know in the comments, which Halo soundtrack do you think was the best? Really, I think Legendary No Skulls was the ideal way to play. It was difficult only when I rushed or paid no attention to what the enemy was doing. It feels really good controlling, commanding UNSC Marines, Warthogs, Scorpion tanks, moving them all around, even though they occasionally lack any situational awareness. Overall, I enjoyed playing through this campaign again all these years later. It's nowhere near as difficult on Legendary as I remember, but perhaps I'm just becoming more strategic as I age, which sounds cool as hell. I really like the Command and Conquer similarities, and paired with the music, this game just has its own atmosphere. So unique to itself, not even the second game could replicate. Plus, the story starts and basically ends in one game, no DLC, story-wise anyway. It's an extremely solid experience, and the cutscenes still look really great. But I did play the definitive edition. I gotta give this game a 9 out of 11. It's an extremely solid game. It's really fun to still play. It has a lot of nostalgia for me, so that's definitely playing a part. It's a good story set in the Halo universe about characters other than Master Chief and Cortana. And don't get me wrong, I love Master Chief and Cortana, but their story has been beautifully told already, and I want new content from Halo. And I think Halo Wars is an excellent example, from 2009 mind you, of the type of stuff you can make in the Halo universe. More of this, please. More stuff like Reach, more stuff like ODST, more stuff like Halo Wars. Stay safe, my dudes.